strange noise from it, and we had a problem on the last stage with brakes, so I was being quite cautious, you know. So the boys are going to change the gearbox now, which obviously changes the centre diff, and see what difference it makes.
One of the nice things about Irish tarmac rallying is that you don't have to have the latest state-of-the-art machinery to be competitive. It's very patriotic having your car painted the colour of the Irish flag.
It's a very well-known car. Like, this car has been on rallying now for the last 11 years, so it's pretty well known around the countryside.
So it knows its own way around, does it then?
Yeah, we know most of the stages pretty well around this area anyway.
How are you doing today?
We're leading the class 9. We're going quick, like, but we're having a lot of problems catching cars because we got a very low seating, so it doesn't help us a lot.
A bit of major work going on here, Yul.
Yeah, the brakes were overheating. The last stage went right to the floor a couple of times, very, very scary.
So the old Mk.1 Escort, it'll stand up to this pace, will it still?
I don't know. Hopefully get to the finish, I know. Just had to keep the pressure on.
Back at the head of the field, it suddenly looked as if one of the top 3 was in trouble. Cullen's co-driver, Ellen Morgan, was looking more than a little concerned at the service out control. What's the problem, Ellen?
They had a little bit of difficulty putting the new suspension on, so we had a little bit more difficulty than we first thought. So I'm just waiting for the car now.
So you're going to be late booking out of here?
Well, I wouldn't exactly say that, but we'd be after we should have been, should we say.
Well, even I didn't quite understand those finer points of Irish timekeeping, but a 45-second road penalty suddenly appeared as the Escort crew set forth towards the last 7 stages of the day. With his new gearbox duly installed, Bertie Fisher and co-driver Rory Kennedy were in no mood to sit in second place. By the time they emerged from the 5th and 6th stage at Knockaculig, they were back in command by a Gnat's whisker. Only 1 second separated Fisher and O'Callaghan. Liam admitted that it was going to be a hard job indeed to beat Bertie. In Group N, one man was dominating. Omar's Trevor Cathers had already pulled out 2 minutes in the group in his Impreza, proving that he's just as good on tarmac as he is on gravel, starring on both the Irish and British Championships. Eugene O'Donnell was feeling the heat in both directions, unable to keep up with Cathers and being caught by Connie Smith as he forced his venerable Mk.2 Escort into an excellent top 10 place. As the cars approached Drishane Castle at Mill Street, no one could have predicted how close things would be. Not even Irish rallying legend Billy Coleman. His successor as Ireland's top driver, Bertie Fisher, in what could well be his last full season of championship rallying, led the cars into this new stage in the castle grounds. But he wasn't leading the event. That honour fell to O'Callaghan. Fastest on the previous 2 stages, he took a 4-second lead into the overnight halt in Killarney. And another rallying legend, Roger Clark, on his first visit to these parts for 15 years. Driving a newly built Mk.1 Escort, he showed he'd lost none of his skills. He'd be one of the 41 cars to entertain the crowds bright and early on the Sunday morning as the rally set off for 92 miles of stages west of Killarney. And where they're all heading is one of the most famous mountain passes in Europe, Moll's Gap. First up was rally leader Liam O'Callaghan. He'd covered this 13-mile stage in 10 minutes 13 seconds, a full 10 seconds quicker than his time last year. Bertie Fisher has made this stage his own, setting the record at 10 minutes 6 seconds in 1994. Averaging an incredible 80 miles an hour over the stage this year, Fisher broke the 10-minute barrier by 1 second to put himself right back in the lead. Overnight, James Cullen and Ellen Morgan received good news. Their 45-second road penalty had been dropped and they were back in the hunt. They set the second fastest time over Moll's Gap, equaling Fisher's old record time of 10 minutes 6 seconds. But life can be cruel. Only 12 seconds lay between Cullen and O'Callaghan at stage 14. Then disaster struck. Gearbox troubles meant Cullen's attack was over. Padda Herson hadn't been able to match the top 3, but was happily holding 4th when a petrol leak poured fumes into the cockpit, causing him to slow and let Eamon Boland ahead into 4th place overall. Unchallenged in Group N after a textbook run, Trevor Cathers finished a fine 6th. Connie Smith and co-driver James Murtagh had been mixing it with the best all through the rally, despite a load of problems.
Nothing but problems all day. Leaf spring in one side, coil over on the other. You name it, we've had it today.
Irish rallying at its best, eh?
I'm telling you. Sorry, we have to go.
I know. Good luck. We've been watching you. Nevertheless, they finished 9th. As the rally entered the final stages, Liam O'Callaghan desperately tried to close the gap, getting to within 12 seconds of Fisher before a front damper went soft and he had to give best to Bertie. In the end, Fisher won by a flattering 27 seconds to take his 6th win in the Rally of the Lakes, setting another new record. He and Rory Kennedy in their Subaru Impreza had driven impeccably on this superb Irish event, but Howard the Master enjoyed this year's offering.
Not enough of the classic stages for my liking. You know, you'll remember back to our Groom and Colts Head and places like that when you were with Billy Coleman, and those are the real classic stages. Tim Healy passed. We really only have Malls Gap, Ballacbima and Carroll Lake now, so I'd like to see it back to the old stages again.
At the end of every rally, it's either champagne or donuts. Just for a change, we thought we'd give you the donuts this time.